first, I want to share something exciting. I got my very first Kindle. Look at this little guy. I got a little cover for it. Oops. And you can put your hand in here. So I always read in bed digitally at night, so like I don't have the lamp on. So where am I? Like I'm not going to drop it. You know, like if I fumble my fingers because I'm sleepy or whatever, like you can put your hand in this. It's kind of stretchy and hold on to it. So it's been really cool. As you can see, I've been starting to read Babel, and this is just like it's the cheapest like Kindle thing that they have. I just spent like the extra $20 to not get the weird adverts on the front, and instead it shows you the book that is being read. So right now I'm reading Babel. I find myself definitely really interested right from the start, so that's good. So that's my nighttime read, and then during the day I am reading the one that you guys chose for me from our little poll, which is The Bog Queen. The Bog Queen. And I've got the hardcover of that, which I started reading, and then the library, my local library, I got a notification that the audiobook that I'd asked for ages ago before I even had the physical book, the hold finally came through, so I switched over and I've been listening to it on audiobook, so it won't be long. I'm only doing a review of that too. I think I'm like halfway through it, so that one is to come as well. But today sorry, I'm so distractible. Today I wanted to talk about this absolute monster. Oh, it sounds so good. Illuminae. So this is a massive book. Like, it is huge. It is so freaking big. And I did mention it on one of my recent book hauls, and I was really excited about it. It was a friend, I think, in one of my writing groups who we've been talking about different styles and different things that you can do at the start of chapters, and it kind of led us on to talking about this book because the whole thing is just in such a crazy structure style, and I just wanted to see it for myself and read it. So here it is. Illuminae. Illuminae. So, it's so big, it makes such good noise. This book is 11 years old now. It's from back in like 2015 or thereabouts, so it's not new. I did pick it up. I think it was already a used copy, as you can see by the scuff marks and stuff. I got it used on Amazon, and it's so cool. You will see on the front here it says "First survive, then tell the truth," and it's book number 1 of, I believe, 3 different books, and it's dual authors Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff that wrote it. So we are following Katie and Ezra in this book mostly, although we kind of hop into a lot of different things and deal with a lot of different people. But I'll read the back here. So it's hard to see in this light, but at the very top it says error. And now with no other option, they have turned to me. And then in the white section it says the year is 2020. No, it's not. The year is 2575, and two rival mega corporations are at war over a planet that's little more than an ice-covered speck. Now, with enemy fire raining down on them, exes Katie and Ezra, who are barely even talking to each other, are forced to escape on the evacuating fleet. And then in black it says, plucked me back from the black they left me in, thinking I will save them. And then it skips again into a white section that says, but their problems are just beginning. The fleet's AI has gone crazy. A deadly plague, which is circled, has broken out on one of the ships, and nobody in charge will say what's really going on. And then in the black rain it says, and I will, of course I will. Then back to the white section it says, as Katie hacks into a tangled web of data to find the truth, it's clear only one person can help her, the ex-boyfriend she swore she'd never speak to again. And then in the black capitals again it says, am I not merciful? Error. So it gives you a really good feel for like what you're letting yourself in for with this book. And when we go in, you can see immediately like this is not a normal book. So you can see that there's classified documents, there's things that are blanked out, there's multiple different fonts showing, like parts that are meant to be like handwritten versus parts that are meant to be typed up. It looks wild. The dedication says, Fornick, who always tells the best stories and started this one. And straight away we're getting a memorandum from the executive director, and you can see there's errors here. It's from a ghost ID. You can see like when it was intercepted, and it's meant to look like, an old sort of Windows computer or something. And we have other pages that are briefing notes, and you can tell which spaceship it's from. And instead of it being like told from one person's perspective, we have like, interviews and stuff. We're getting these little snippets. We even have different ships, and it gives you information about them. There's even pages that are like meant to be this world's kind of Wikipedia, but it's Unipedia. And it talks about different battles, there's briefing notes, intros, different contents. And they've done some really, really fun and interesting things, like here's a message that's like meant to sort of self-destruct or whatever for security, and you can see it literally vanishing in the typography. So much thought and care has gone into the design of this book. So these ones that are properly black, that's usually a swear word. And then these ones that are like scored through, you can tell they've been like removed from the report, but you can still read them. Again, like on this whole page, we just have silence, and it's visually representing silence. There's nothing there. Like every page has been really thought out, it feels like, which is so cool. We even have like this is like a sort of diary that one of the characters has made, and you know, it's like showing that it's kind of like in this secret compartment, like unhackable, whatever. And then they've taken the time on something that's meant to be like a paper report. You can see there's like fingerprints and like a coffee cup stain, like the classified stamp. You can see things that have been approved versus things that have been denied. There's countdowns as well in there. And then again, like some really, really interesting visualization of things that are happening. So that's what it looks like inside. You can tell why I was so excited to see the book. I mean, have you ever seen a book like that before? Truthfully. I mean, probably not since, I don't know, you're a kid and maybe seen like a picture book, but I've never seen one like that that's so well thought out. So Illuminae was quite an adventure. Visually, I was blown away with what they were able to do with the text, the fonts, the care, the thought that went into it is honestly incredible. And I love that the authors were able to get something like this printed because it is very big, and there tends to be in publishing like all these sort of restrictions and rules, and this book will take up more space on a shelf than a smaller book that might be the same price, you know, that kind of thing. So they tend to be a little bit more hesitant when it comes to printing big chunky books, especially if it's not from like someone that's maybe a bestseller or whatever already, right? Like it can be a bit risky for them. So to have something this big and this beautiful printed just seems like such a luxury, you know, a luxury in publishing. And I would love to know more about the authors. Like, I'm curious, was one of them more of like the story writer and the other one more of like the visual, like creating the concepts rather than the story? Like, I don't know. It's very would say like young adult at the oldest. It definitely reads quite young, and I would say that's because the main two characters, Katie and Ezra, are quite young, like they're teenagers, and they talk like, teenagers. It's very much like that sort of teenage banter back and forth between them, like that kind of teenage silliness, and teenage angst and everything, which, I mean, the book itself, like the actual book is so complex, and they have spent so much time making it visually incredible. It's such a visual, cool journey that I don't really mind that the actual story plot is kind of young feeling. Like, it didn't even necessarily feel like, I don't really know how to explain it, like, you kind of forgive that it's not some really intricate masterpiece of a story, because the actual physical book itself is a masterpiece, So, yeah, the story follows Ezra and Katie, more so Katie, as their planet, so right at the start, their planet gets attacked by some rival corporation than the one that controls their planet, and they get evacuated onto one of like 3 ships. But stuff happens, and they get split up, but they are like the only 2 people that they know that escaped. Really, like, that's all they have. Like, they don't really know like about like their family and other friends and stuff, but they know that each other got on the ships. They got separated, so one of them's on one ship and one of them's on another ship, and they do kind of message back and forth. Like, the ships, they're able to communicate, like, email back and forth. I don't know that it's called email, it's like some sort of ship messaging system that they've created. So you kind of get a bit back and forth there, and you're also getting stuff from like the ship's computer, surveillance footage that someone's like annotated, reports, private correspondence between like the captain and different members of the crew. So you get like all these other little trails of information that you kind of follow, and if there's ever anything like really important that you need to pay attention to, it will say, like, note the date here compared to, wherever, or something like that. They try and like point you in the right direction. So the story, after they get picked up on those ships, because a lot of the crew, once they end up on these ships, basically the captains are trying to use all of the survivors, because they're going to be on board for a long time to get back home to like wherever they are, the next space station or whatever. Some of the engines, there's like a problem and they can't get there as fast as they normally would, so they're going to be on board for a month, and they're trying to make everyone useful. So they do like a sort of competency test, and Ezra ends up flying some of the ships with them, like the little zippy kind of defensive ships. I can't remember what they're called. And Katie kind of flunks a test kind of on purpose, is what we're led to believe. But she's quite good with computers, and she's kind of sneaking around, hacking into things and trying to figure stuff out. So we mostly follow what Katie's doing, but she also does communicate with Ezra. And there's like another hacker on board that she runs into. And while all this is happening, we learn that on one of the ships there's like an outbreak of something, and there's concern about trying to keep everyone safe, and then the computer system's damaged with the the evacuations, so they can't really deal with everything in the normal ways that they would. So they've got a lot of different problems that are all happening while they're on board this ship that they have to figure out, in the time that they're on there, while they try and get to the next sort of way station place that they can go. So it's interesting enough of a story, but it's not like groundbreaking. You mostly see what's coming. I mean, maybe I've just watched too many episodes of Star Trek. I used to watch that with my dad. But I think, it's the story itself, the plot's not groundbreaking. But it's all forgiven because it's such a well planned out and well executed structure of a book that you don't really care. I think I would have absolutely died to have read this when I was like a teenager or something. I'm sure I would have absolutely loved the bones of this. As a teenager, I wish I'd been around then. So it was very cool, and I did really enjoy it. And I love that there's 3 of them, but I don't think I would go out of my way to purchase 2 and 3. Like if I came across them in a charity shop, I'd maybe pick them up. But I haven't like ran to Amazon to buy the next one because the story itself like didn't capture my heart enough to make me want to read on, if that makes sense. The characters are kind of, they're angsty teenagers, and that's just not really what I read right now. I'm definitely more adult fiction, things with bigger plot mysteries and things that I can't quite work out. But that's just a personal preference thing. There's absolutely no reason not to look at this book. Like, I think if you're a writer or someone who is like really interested in unique books, like, you're gonna love this, and you should definitely take a look at it, because it's so hard to explain, and like I can't just show you every single page, but like there's so much going on here, and I don't want to spoil it. But it's so beautiful. I'm so glad that I've heard about it so that I can see it for myself. It must have been so difficult to try and write this book, because you're not only having to think of the story in the normal terms, but you're also trying to think of how you can present each page without it being like a normal book. There is not a part of this that is like a normal book. Every single thing is visually represented as a report or a notification or an email or a DM or something. It must have, I dread to even think how long this book must have taken to produce. So much work and effort and love has gone into this, and I really do adore it. I really do. I would love to see an adult fiction done in this style. It would be so cool. Almost like a sort of murder mystery, some sort of like solve it yourself, with clues and stuff as you go through. I don't know. Yeah, I think I would have probably gave this like 10 out of 10 if I'd read it when I was younger and I was more going to resonate with the characters in the story. But I rate it 10 out of 10 for like uniqueness, effort. Like, you can see all the love that's gone into this book. I just don't resonate with the actual story anymore. Like the sort of teenage aspect, I guess. Like, there's nothing really unique about them, Ezra's like, it kind of comes off as like a bit of a typical jock, and Katie's like the typical girl that, I'm like, she doesn't realize how brilliant she is, kind of thing. It's this very kind of expected, the way that their characters are, and that's fine, because everything else is so unexpected about this book. I would love to know if you have come across this book or any other sort of crazily executed books. I would just found the authors in the back. There they are. Amy and Jay. Okay, let me see what we can learn about them. So they are New York Times best-selling co-authors. Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff met thanks to international taxation law, and soon struck up a writing partnership based on shared love of blowing things up and breaking hearts. I like them already. Their first collaboration resulted in the international bestsellers Illuminae and its sequel, Jemina, I think it says. Jemina. Separately, Amy is the co-author of the best-selling Starbound trilogy, while Jay is the author of the award-winning Lotus War trilogy and the Nevernight Chronicle. They live with their respective spouses in Melbourne, Australia, and are fueled almost exclusively by caffeine and readers' tears. You'll learn more about Amy and Jay at amykaufman.com and jkristoff.com. You can also find them across social media on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. That's so cool. That's so cool. And it's not just Illuminae and Jemina. There's also, this is like the third one, is called Obsidio, which is number 3. So that's so awesome. That's really awesome. I wonder if their individual books are as wild as this one, like with the crazy format and things, or if they're normal typed up books. It'd be interesting. I might need to investigate that.